all of us that life is precious and a challenge to love each other more. Football is something that is important to all of us. It creates a brotherhood. We are family, and when one of us is hurting, we all hurt. I've hugged my own family, felt so close to our team through all of this, these last 24 hours. UVA was here for us in 2007, and we are here for them now. It's bigger than football. Coach Elliott and I text yesterday morning. Our hearts go out to them. Status, Dorian Strong's out for the year. Injury progressing, but after an appointment, just needs more time, and we're certainly going to do that. Malachi Thomas is doubtful for this week. I'll open it up for questions.
Andy, you said you texted Coach Elliott. What do you even say in a moment like this?
I'm thinking about him. I can't imagine. And if there is anything at all, don't hesitate to ask. That we're here for you. I told him I loved him, and that we're here for you and your team.
For sure, these aren't things that you really think about as a coach ever after dealing with this situation. Have you met with your team, and what do you say to them about this situation?
We haven't met as a team yet. We're off on Mondays. I sent out a message to our team yesterday afternoon, early afternoon. And then we're going to discuss it today. That's first on the list, for our team meeting today. And, it's hard. I mean, I saw a lot of our guys yesterday, and you can't help but think about if this was our team and it was 3 or 4 of our players, what we'd be going through. It hits home that way. And, so very tough situation. I was part of something, a tragedy similar to this at the University of Memphis. We lost a player in season. But so, we're going to hold our team close. And it's on the minds of everybody, every player that came through, every staff member. There's so many connections to our program and theirs, through our players, through our coaches. That this does hit close to home.
Aaron. Brent, how did the news get to you?
I saw it. I didn't see it till really first thing Monday morning. Really did I grasp what was going on. We had a late Sunday night, and you get home with your wife and kids and try and steal some time with them before it's lights out. But Mike Hazel and I discussed it first thing in the morning and threw the news on, and got updated. Whit Babcock reached out, and so we started to get more and more information as the morning unfolded.
So Whit was kind of briefing you through.
Absolutely, yeah.
I guess I'll ask a football question too. I mean, Holloway, have you made that decision that you talked about Sunday?
Yeah, again, to be forthright with you, we did make the decision. He and his family, they want to play. Unfortunately, he's sick, so we'll see. He's got to get well. He's not going to practice today. And, there was a lot of value in having 2 games and number one, winning the games, number 2, the experience that he would get. So he's got to get well. If he's healthy and well and able to play in this one, then certainly we're going to move forward with what he and his family and the staff agreed was all in his best interest and our best interest. But if for some reason he's not able to play in this one, then we'll have another decision on our hands.
Anthony in the back of the room.
Brent, you talked about sort of hugging your players a little bit tighter. When something like this happens, does it change your perspective as a coach?
I think it reminds you again, that I mean, we're kind of built that way, right? We're a hug and love and, you know, but it just opens your eyes to how precious things are. And, you know, when I think about, and I did mention to our staff and to the players I saw yesterday, if this was happening with our program, just where our hearts and minds would be, you know. I mean, this is an awesome game. I love the game of football, but more so I love what it brings out in people and what we're teaching these guys. And that's really where it's at. And to me, you know, the brotherhood, the family, the being there for one another. I mean, my heart absolutely aches for Coach Elliott, you know, going through a year like we're going through, and to have something like this happen for he and his staff and their football community, their football family, it's devastating.
To the football side,
Yep.
Liberty sort of had a revolving door at quarterback, so to speak, this year. What do you see from them that they bring offensively, and what challenges will that bring for you guys?
Yeah, they're one of the more explosive offensive units we've seen. The quarterback they've kind of settled on is a good player. Number 11, he seems to be the guy. They play one other kid a little bit, but I think 11's their guy. He's a gunslinger. He's got the it factor. He's a 6-footer at best, but man, he can run. He slings it. And then, you know, they've got a dynamic wideout in number 3. To me, he's a special talent. Could play in a bunch of leagues. And then, you know, they got a nice running game. They got a solid offensive line. It's a good looking unit. You know, I think they feel pretty good about what they've got offensively.
David.
So what a whiplash going back and forth. I'll start with football. See, playing at Williams Stadium for the first time, smaller stadium, but a crazy atmosphere. How do you prepare your team for that? Even knowing that there's probably going to be a big fan there.
Yeah, I mean, they know that, you know, these guys are an hour and a half up the road. This is a big game, whether it's in Lane Stadium or at their place. And you know, there's a lot of connections between the two programs, staff and players. So, you know, we're trying to earn some respect, and, you know, they're trying to have you know, kind of put a stamp on their season. And, you know, so I expect a good ball game. It's a great challenge for us. We're excited about it.
How do you talk about perspective? How do you think sports can help heal in a time like this?
You know, we've talked about that a little bit this morning and yesterday, just, you know, moving forward and using sport or football as a vehicle to help heal and, you know, togetherness and an opportunity to show support for one another, you know, while still battling, you know, on the court or on the gridiron. I mean, just to be able to do both, you know, but also just to understand that, you know, kind of like in my opening statement, I mean, it's about more than football. And I think that resonates and reminds everybody of that.
Front row, David.
How hard has it been for you to kind of focus on football the past day or two after all the news?
Yeah, it's been at the, you know, it's been on everybody's mind pretty heavy. Down that hallway, you know, it's just, you know, again, I can't imagine what they're going through, but, you know, it's affected us certainly, you know, and we're preparing and doing the things we need to do, but, you know, there's a need and a want to support and to know and to message and to, you know, one of our players comes through, there's, you know, you're not just going to go about your business. You're going to pull them in and sit them down. You're going to talk about it. You know, so it's, you know, it's certainly been in our building the last 24 hours.
On the football field, what kind of stands out to you about this Liberty defense?
Yeah, again, you know, very productive, particularly up front. TFL, sacks. They got a nice cover player. So they're disruptive. Yeah, I think that, you know, you got to minimize the minus yardage plays. I think when teams have done that, it's bode well for them. So we got to be smart and sound, and, you know, again, like every week, we've got to try and establish run game.
Have you and Coach Freeze crossed paths before? What's your relationship with him at all?
No, I do not. He was coaching high school athletics in Memphis when I was coaching at the University of Memphis. He was at, I believe at Briarcrest coaching.
Andy, and then we'll go to Zoom.
We've asked you a lot about Mansour since he's been here, his path. I'm curious, going back to his recruitment, for when you first came on board, were you confident in him coming here? I know he was looking at some other places. I think Michigan State was kind of in the mix there. What was the process
were.
there?
Yeah, if I remember right, he actually had set up a visit with Michigan State. I can't remember if he went on it or not, but he was a high priority for us. We have a good relationship with his head high school coach from our time at Penn State, so we were able to kind of dive in pretty quick on him and get the ins and outs. Knew a little bit about him from Penn State. He was certainly on our list there, but he was one of those guys, with a star by his name. We got it number one because he had, put some feelers out there, which was understandable. And number two, because of the talent level. And I always saw him as a guy, is he a corner? Is he a safety? But he was smart. He was savvy. I liked the way he played. So it was good. His high school coach was supportive and helped us navigate that. It's a great family. And I think, they got a lot of respect for the Fuller brothers. There's some familiarity there. And so we were fortunate to get him.
Let's go to Zoom for a couple.
On Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to ask questions. We'll take as many as we have time for, and we'll start with Evan, please.
Yeah, with the kicking situation moving forward, do you think you're going to stick with Love for the rest of the year and let him get under the 4-game limit, or you think you'll go back to Will Ross? Kind of where's the thought process there?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're going to give John another opportunity this week. Feel like he deserves that. And then we'll reevaluate it after the Liberty game. Again, Will's done some good things this year. And, they had a heck of a battle in preseason camp. And, we felt it was fair to kind of open it up and give John an opportunity with what happened, particularly on the PATs. And again, about evaluating some of the freshmen in our program and what we have in them.
Can we go to David Teal, please?
Brent, when the young man was killed at Memphis, do I have the timing right that just a day or two later you guys had a game?
Yes, sir. Played
Marshall?
Yes, sir.
What was there any thought given to canceling that game? What was the thought process, among the staff and the players about continuing on?
Yeah, it was very challenging. Administratively, I don't know the thought process in playing the game. That was above my pay grade.
Right.
But the young man actually played for me, and navigating, funeral service and taking our team there and trying to prepare for a game and the grief, and it was challenging. So certainly that those memories, have resurfaced. I don't wish that on anybody.
Taylor Bradford was his name, right?
Yes, sir.
What-
Walk-on defensive tackle from.
Yeah. What did you say to your room in the aftermath of that?
Yeah, I mean, you hug them, you put your arms around him. A couple of the guys were very close to him. He kind of had a big personality, and you just see how much it hurts them. Number one, they don't understand. They're angry, they're hurt, they're frustrated. They're grieving, and you're trying to ask them to concentrate on, a blitz or a coverage or number one, it's challenging, and number two, you wonder if it's the right thing. So,
You won that game, didn't you?
yes, sir.
What was that like?
I think it's kind of hazy for everybody. It wasn't. I don't remember it being a joyous occasion. It was still a somber attitude on our football team.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We please go to Andrew.
Hey, coach, after the events of April 16th, you saw schools like Ohio State and other schools kind of sending out their sympathies to Virginia Tech, where they wore the Virginia Tech logo during their spring game. Do y'all plan on doing anything similar for UVA this Saturday?
Yeah, there's discussions happening now. Most of them on the third floor. But there are discussions happening now for this weekend and the following weekend.
What have the past 24 hours been like for you?
It's been a very tragic situation, especially being it's so close to here. My parents just been calling me, checking up on me, and just making sure everything's been, I guess, it's just going pretty well.
Hard to stay focused on football.
Yeah, it's been very hard to stay focused on football, especially knowing that those kids had bright futures.
Does this change your perspective at all? Just about life in general?
Yes, sir. I feel like it does change your perspective on life because it just makes you more appreciative, especially with Thanksgiving coming up. And it's going to be hard for those families not to have those individuals there.
And
Yeah, well, I'm curious, what are the conversations like with teammates? You guys have a close bond. I don't know if any of them knew any of those players, but do you guys talk about how terrible of a thing it could happen within a team like that?
I haven't actually had the chance to talk to any of my teammates about it, but I had woke up and I seen it all over Twitter, and it was very crazy. And my mom, she called me probably a couple hours later when she found out.
Just shift gears to football a little bit. You guys, you've had some success on those deep passes last couple of weeks. What's the key to that? How do you get open on those? And is that something that you're hoping you guys do more of?
Just basically just sticking to it and just keep trying to get open, I guess.
Just following up on David's question about perspective, before Sunday, talking about the losing streak and struggles. How do you change perspective on that? The struggles kind of get put on the back burner, kind of get thrown out the window after something like that happens, right?
I would say you just got to come in every day, ready to work and get better each day because there's nothing you can do but get better because that's the only thing that's gonna help.
Aaron,
Do you have any good stories about Mansour? Like going up against him in practice or anything like that?
I could tell early on what we had a one-on-one rep at practice one day, and it was a pretty good rep, and his recovery speed is I find that very interesting to me because he's pretty fast to me, but he's been doing his thing lately.
Just watching him, he looks confident. He looks like an older player, like he's been around. How does he conduct himself like in the locker room? Is it just kind of like act like a senior almost, or?
Honestly, I don't see him talk as much, to be honest, but he goes out there and he does what he does every day.
back of the room, Anthony.
Da'Wain Lofton's got a couple guys in the secondary who are kind of homegrown type of guys from the Lynchburg, Southwest Virginia area. What are kind of your early impressions on what their defense brings, and you think that they might kind of have a chip on their shoulder trying to beat the big bad Virginia Tech in-state program, so to speak?
I feel like, of course, they'll have a chip on their shoulder because it's an in-state game, like you said, and I just feel like they're gonna be hungry when they come here. When we go there, so I mean we'll be prepared. We should be.